Joint Budget and Finance Committee meeting and Committee of the Whole meeting to order is Monday, June 12th, and the time is 3:37 p.m. Councilors, have you had the chance to look at the minutes from the last meeting?
Yes.
Is there a motion for approval?
I move approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The minutes from the last meeting have passed. Councilors, are there any items you would like to place on consent?
Oh, a few.
Councilor Abbott?
I'm fine.
Madam Chair, if you'll allow me, I have two corrections on some items
Okay.
before you to the agenda. Item number 20. The language needs to be replaced completely, but this item should align with item 10 on tomorrow's agenda. In short, this is an item that was submitted by the Evergreen Neighborhood Association for the Evergreen Community Center. And it is for Stark Exterminators for commercial pest control services. The amount, GL code, and everything is the same, but the language in terms of who it's for should be different as I've read it. And I'll provide that to you. Yeah. This should be Stark Exterminators, which is item 10 on the agenda. But some kind of way, the language here is different from what's on the agenda.
And it's the 1140.
Yeah, the amount the same, GL code the same. Can you consider that a courtesy from the council?
Interesting.
And then on item 21, the GL code should be 001 underscore 01 underscore 04280 underscore 04281 period 527-014. I just have the supporting documentation for that GL code if necessary. And that's it.
Okay, thank you, Jeff.
Madam Chairman,
Yes.
the items that I suggest for consent are 7, 8, 10, 11, 14, 16, and 19. Once again, 7, 8, 10, 11, 14, 16, and 19.
And let me go back over it. So it's item 7 on page 2, item 8 on page 3, items 10 and 11 on page 4, item 14 on page 5, and item 19 on page 7, and item 16 on page 6. Is that right?
Unless anyone objects.
Madam President? Okay.
I move the item for consent.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The consent agenda has been passed. If your items are placed on consent, you are free to go. First item is item number 4. Looks like Kevin Moore. Submitted by Kevin
I'll
Moore.
speak on the Madam Chair, if you don't mind.
Sure. You know you gotta read it.
Okay.
She has transferred
That's
that
fine.
opportunity.
That's work. So if you don't mind, I can read number 4 and number 15 because they're related.
Okay, if that's fine with the committee. Yes.
The ordinance to amend the general fund budget for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2023 by transferring $300,000 from grant expenditures grant management appropriating $300,000 to the annual contribution transportation Birmingham Transit Authority. And item number 15 is a first amendment to the public transportation service with the Birmingham Jefferson County Transit Authority, under which the public transportation service agreement between the city and the BJCTA dated February 7, 2023, pursuant to which BJCTA agrees to provide public transportation service including fixed route and demand response paratransit service and the bus rapid transit BRT service for the city agreed to provide a total of $11 million in funding for such services would be amended to provide that the city will contribute $300,000 in additional service funding to support the BJCTA operations and management of the BRT. Wow. I see why you don't want to read.
Second.
Okay, well,
Okay. So what's before the council is a collaborative effort between the city and the BJCTA to provide them some additional funding for the BRT service line. If the council members recall, a gentleman came before the council and made some remarks about the transit authority and how if someone enrolled the BRT line, they had to pay a fee, and once they got down to Central Station, they had to pay another fee to run a fixed route. So right now, BJCTA and their leadership is kind of in the transitional phase of trying to correct that issue with the implementation of an app that will pretty much collectively add those services together in one system instead of somebody having to pay multiple fees for the same system. If it's BRT, if it's fixed route, or if it's the VIA service for the late night service. So what's before the council right now is just a $300,000 allocation to the BJCTA for the system to supplement that fee that was passed down to our citizens that ride the BRT until that gives the BJCTA enough time to implement this app so we can have a seamless app and a seamless method of payment for the ridership in the city of Birmingham. So hopefully I explained it enough. If not, I can answer any questions, and we have leadership here from the BJCTA.
yes, can they, who are they? Can they come up,
Sure.
please? We know who y'all are, but please say your names.
Hi, Herb Walker, Acting IT Director.
Wasanji Pete Finney, I was Senior Planning Director for BJCTA.
I'm Stanley Lacy, Director of Operations and Maintenance.
Okay, is there anything we need to know about these items in addition to what Chief has said?
If y'all have any questions.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
you have any questions?
Okay, so we're giving y'all 300 additional thousands of dollars so that people who ride the bus will be able to get on wherever and get to their destination without having to pay multiple times for multiple different entities, such
Yes.
as BRT. So this $300,000 isn't gonna pay for the app, because you're already working on the app, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
But it's going to pay
It's to supplement the fee
To
for,
supplement the fee
for free-
for the riders to get to their actual
That's correct.
destination.
yes.
Because the young man who spoke before the council was very good at explaining the problem. I felt real sorry for him. Gosh, I think he was paying 3 times
That's correct.
to try to get to work to the same entity.
So what's before is to allow free riders on the BRT line.
Okay, so I was looking at our budget book for the upcoming year and for this year, and of course it shows the $10 million that we committed, and then it shows $1 million for the BRT this year.
Mhm.
Have we already done that?
Yes.
Okay, so this 300,000 is unanticipated, so that's the reason it doesn't show
That is correct.
in the budget book. But then next year, interestingly, we still have bus rapid transit in our budget. But we don't own the bus rapid transit because, last week we gave it to the
We
BJCTA?
turn over pieces of property to the transit authority.
And they're gonna run it, and we don't have anything to do with
Yeah,
it anymore.
that was in
right?
compliance with the grant application that we had from the FTA.
Okay, so this 3 million is on top of the 11 million.
Yeah, so for the proposed budget, there is an amount for fixed and for BRT. Myself and the Department of Transportation has been in conversation with the leadership of BJCTA, Ms. Charlotte Shaw, on trying to figure out a common amount that the city can contribute in order to have a sufficient BRT and fixed route service. So that's what's in the proposed budget.
Okay, so BRT is going to have its own line forever?
Until we can figure out, I mean, it's fairly new, it's less than a year old, and I think they're still trying to iron out all the details of making it a self-sufficient service line.
Build it and they will come.
Yes, that has
Right.
actually been a very consistent thing we've been doing. It's
Okay,
worked.
well, good, you've answered the question about this 300,000, and I sneaked in the question about the 3 million.
I answered the budget question, the first one.
Thank you, that answers my
Okay,
question.
Madam President?
Yes, so just to piggyback on Mrs. Evans' question, so this 300,000 is coming from the grant match.
Yeah,
Program that-
to explain that, just in full transparency, so you know we have a grant match account. Just because we're at the end of our fiscal year, we had not received any notice of awards for some grants that we went out, and so these funds will have actually lapsed. So we just want to just take those funds and repurpose them for the BJCTA.
Okay. And just for my own clarity, this money is to facilitate helping the rider pay the different fees. Again, it's not paying for the app.
No.
And what, and I can ask, what is the, when you expect the implementation of the app?
So we're targeting somewhere between October and November of this
Okay,
year.
That's great, that's great. And so in the meantime, I'll just still get the same coupons, but there won't be a fee. I'm not using the app or any technology.
So they wouldn't have to, this is supplement the BRT, so they shouldn't have to get a coupon or a ticket or anything. They just get onto the BRT for free.
It was like the pilot when we first launched.
Yes.
Anybody can get on. They didn't have to show a ticket. They have to scan. They just got on the road.
Right, thank you, those are all the questions I have.
So what are we gonna do next year? What are the plans to do it? Are we just gonna, like, what's the plan? So we do this and then what happens next? So
Yeah.
next year y'all would take the burden
Use
of
the
that?
app.
Use
Yes,
the
ma'am.
app?
The app makes it free, right? I mean, not free.
But they have to pay, that's the thing. If we're making it into one fee. Explain.
So the biggest thing that we had with the two systems is our fixed route system operates on a different fare integration system. We got
Okay.
the Gen Fare, and then our Birmingham Express, which is our BRT, is a Flowbird system. So that's why there's two separate fares. Like if you get a pass for the fixed route, it doesn't validate on the BRT. We're working to make all those things seamless into one place where a rider that's getting on it on the fixed route of the BRT, they won't have that problem.
Okay.
So the app is going to fix all of that.
Okay, so this is a one-time fee for the app. We won't have to pay it next year.
We're not paying for the app.
For app, yeah.
We're just paying to help.
We're
you out.
paying to supplement the fee that was.
Gotcha.
The
Gotcha.
fares.
I gotcha.
Yes.
What are the stats for the BRT? How many people ride it per day?
We're looking at different variations. When we did the new May connectivity changes, we have seen an influx of ridership on the Birmingham Express. At the beginning, when the Birmingham Express was free, of course, we've seen a big number of riders. You know, I mean, I think at CAP, we've seen like 18,000 boardings per day. When the fares got reinstated at the first of the year, that ridership number declined. But when we started the BRT connectivity routes that took place on May 15th, we've seen those numbers begin to kind of tick back up a little bit. But I believe with this will kind of help because of the fare systems. We have a lot of riders to get on the bus, and they're a little confused. If
Yeah.
I've already purchased a fixed route pass, why should I have to pay
Yeah.
for another
Yeah.
fare? So right now, Council Smith, we're looking at about 12,000 boardings, I could say. And I provide ridership and report cards to the city. Chaz Mitchell and some others have those stats, so they can probably share on the chip.
And we share that with the chair of transportation.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, Madam President, I'm sure we have to ask Councilman Quinn for those stats.
Yes, well, we'll be sure to get those.
Oh, absolutely. You know I share whatever I got. Yeah.
Well, we just always wonder because when constituents ask us, we need to be able to, we're able to answer. Yes, sir. Okay. Well, do
One more
y'all?
question.
Yes, Council Abbott.
Okay, so I just wanted to make sure I understood what Mr. Mitchell said. The BRT is now gonna be free
It
again?
will be free. As soon as you
So,
step on it, you just go
If
to
you
your,
just get on
go
it
sit
and you
down.
don't need, go to sleep, and when you get to the end of the line, they'll wake you up, so. But if you're not going, if you don't need to connect with the regular bus, then,
It's just free.
Yeah, it's just free.
Just free.
so you can just go right around?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay, thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate the free ride.
No, thank you all.
For now.
Yes, thank you.
For now.
So what, how long is it?
Yes.
How long are we gonna do
Until
it?
they, I believe.
Yeah.
What is it, October, November, then they'll
I
start
think we're
the
looking
integrated
at-
one fee?
We're talking to Director Shaw, we're looking at release at the end of the year for
Okay.
the BRT, so yes.
Well, we need to make sure we advertise it and tell people about that.
Yes, ma'am.
And the app will be ready when we move in the council chambers.
Oh, yeah.
October's a big month.
I know. Anyways, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Okay, I think there's, oh, the next item. Item number 15. You don't have anything else, does it? Okay. Well, there's been, are y'all good with item number 15? Okay.
We
Well, there's
already
been,
answered the question.
okay, I'm making sure. There's a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those items pass. Thank you, Chief.
You're welcome.
Next item is item number 5. Jeff?
Madam Chair, Chief Mitchell, if you allow, Chief Moon to speak to that.
Afternoon,
Afternoon.
Corey Moon, serve as the Fire Chief of Birmingham Fire Rescue Service. So this item before you is a transfer from council. This comes from Councilor Woods, District 1. I was just transferring $9,100 to DFRS to take care of some small equipment needs for Fire Station number 28, which is on Carson Road, as Jeff stated, and Fire Station number 30, which is on Springville Road. So this will allow us to take care of some equipment needs for those two stations.
Madam President?
Well,
Councilor Atkins?
I wanted to know how we were funding it out of the funding source 001. It sounded like 007 was going to pay for it. So if we were to actually put the funding source and say it was discretionary, you wouldn't have to come here. That would probably make you happy.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, that was it. I just wondered what 001 meant. I'm sure it was a typo. But anyway, so I know now.
Okay.
Thank you very much, ready to vote.
Move the item.
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. The item passes. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Next item is item number 6. I don't see Mr. Collins.
Good afternoon. My name is Colin Alexander. I serve as Senior Planner with the Birmingham Department of Transportation. What is before you is an interlocal agreement between the City of Birmingham and the City of Homewood. This is concerning the signal at the intersection of Richard Arrington Jr. Boulevard and Valley Avenue, also known as the intersection of 21st Avenue and 18th Street. This intersection is mostly in the city limits of Birmingham. A portion of it is in the city limits of Homewood. Currently, the wooden poles at this the lights at that intersection are starting to sink. The lights are now below acceptable height limit for safety going through the intersection. Homewood is currently doing a project at the intersection currently, and so this is a good opportunity economically for us to partner with them to go ahead and replace all 4 posts with metal posts and new lighting at the intersection. So we're talking about, from the city of Birmingham's side, $325,000.
Okay. Thank you. Also, we need to note in item number 6, it's supposed to be 21st and not 12. That's T. Okay. Councilor Abbott, do you have any questions?
Well, yeah, since this is my district, I was very interested in it. I turned it in a long time ago because the call button to cross the street is down by your foot.
Yes.
And a constituent sent me a picture of it, and he said I can kick it and cross the street, but I don't think that's what you're supposed to do. And of course, the answer was no. But so, how much is the city of Homewood paying for this opportunity?
That I'm not entirely sure. I have to go back and look through, but from the city's perspective, it's the $325,000. For most of the lighting is actually in our intersection. What we're providing them is reimbursing them for doing the work, since they're out there doing work now.
Okay. And so I'm just assuming from the fact that we're doing it, that using the funding for interstate lighting upgrades and replacements is okay on Richard Arrington Jr. Boulevard. And I didn't ever realize that Richard Arrington Jr. Boulevard and 18th Street in Homewood were also named Republic Road. And, oh, I'm assuming that since it's in here, it's named that. Learn something new every day. Well, I'm glad to see this is getting done because, you know, calling for the light to change with your toe is, a bad thing. So thank you for answering my questions.
Okay, Madam President,
I don't have any questions.
I don't either. Is there a motion and a
I
second?
move approval. Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 6 passes. Thank
Thank you.
you. Next item is item number 9. So from Ayo.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Come on, sit down. Take a seat.
I'm gonna also need Keith to, help me out here
Okay.
on this one. My name is Janice James Dothert. I serve as real estate manager in the Department of Innovation and Economic Opportunity. This afternoon, good afternoon, counselors. This afternoon, we're asking for your support in the restated and amended agreement with the Ansley project that's being developed. And it's mainly due to COVID and some of the milestones in the original agreement could not be met because of those timelines. We were all shut down with COVID and stuff. So and also the application for the group, for Zimmerman Group, to be able to complete the approvals for funding through AHFA, which is just now beginning to do applications since COVID with them. Well, actually, since they demolished the building. So that was one of the milestones that they had to do, was to demolish the building, remove the blight, and do that remediation, and they have done that. And so right now, that was tied to the original agreement, but since that's been done, and the only other milestone that's left now is for them to at completion, they would make sure they have the commercial building in place. But the way the agreement reads now, they would still have to give us money back, and it doesn't seem like they have a full agreement because that's been done now. And so we just kind of amended it to make it more clear and concise, so when they make the application to AHFA, to the state, that all of that be shown clear that they've done what they were supposed to do. So Keith may want to explain it a little bit more in legal terms, that's just more my layman's terms on it.
And I think that's a good summation. In order to apply for the grant with AHFA, they need to, one, show that the remediation has been done on the property. AHFA has not been granting funds over the last couple of years, and so they anticipate that they will grant funds this year. The funds that have been previously released by them have been used on projects dated before COVID. So we really needed to extend the term for them in order to complete the project, as well as show that the remediation has been completed in order for them to apply.
Okay. Madam President?
Yes, I have a question. Thank you very much. I just want to be sure that I have clarity concerning the cost. I understand you're removing the milestones that have been met. And so now you still have, what is remaining? It's now getting this money for the AFHA?
They have to make an application at AHFA. And so that is something that's pending.
Okay.
But the demolition remediation is all been completed. We're not increasing the incentive at all. We're basically acknowledging that $1 billion of the incentive that work has been completed. If they continue and are able to do a commercial portion of the space when they redevelop, they will get an additional 50.
That's the 500,000.
Yes,
Okay, because that was several figures in here. So the million is intact. That was the original
That's been paid.
incentive.
And that's been
And
cleared.
that's been cleared?
Been paid,
Okay. And so now what's remaining is the 50,000?
That's the
Well,
500.
no, 500,000. 50,000 was the purchase price of the home.
Okay.
So we're basically just saying that of the $1.5 million incentive, $1 million of that has been paid and they performed the work for.
Okay. Thank you.
Councilor Abbott?
Okay. I think I understand, but it would have been really helpful to have a copy of the strike-through version, because in reading it after all this time has passed since we originally approved it, it was hard to tell what you changed in the agreement. You know, so if you're sitting there at midnight reading it and you have all these questions and there's no one to answer them, but if we had a strike-through version, we could kind of tell
I can get you that.
what was done. And well, you might not have to come here. I'm trying to encourage people.
Thank you,
know,
I
I mean,
appreciate
just
that.
more complete information equals you don't have to come. So, just to, all those drawings that were shown to us by the developers of what they were gonna do and all the things they said, all that's still in place.
Yes.
The only things that have changed is the pandemic came, messed up the timeline. They've now demolished the building and cleaned everything up and made it where it's ready to develop. And so we've given them $1 million. And now they're going to earn the next 500,000. And is that
When the commercial building is
for the
completed.
commercial building? And when the commercial building is
It's complete.
finished, then we give them that money. And then, when does the project get completed? Like all that housing,
Right.
single family, multiple family?
All of that is still in place, it's just that those timelines is just shifted due to the years of COVID. So
Okay,
we just
so-
kind of shifted them those,
So they're gonna do
those
the
years.
commercial portion of it next, and then they will start on the residential portion?
No, they're gonna go ahead and start on the residential portion and do that part while they're still working on the commercial side
Okay, so everything will just happen together?
together, yes.
Okay, I believe I understand now, so you don't have to send me the strike through, but you might have to send it to the other members of the council, so, you know. Anyway, but I think I've got it now. Thank you.
All right, I'm good. Madam President, do you have any more questions? Okay. Is there a motion for
Move
approval?
approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item number 9 has passed. Thank you, guys. Next item is item number 12. Hey, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Can you state your name? Oh, yes, sir.
My name is Michelle Inman, and I serve as accountant for the mayor's office. And the item that I have before you, this is for the Dannon Project. They have their annual Juneteenth Empowerment Luncheon that's scheduled for June 15th. And it's the city providing funding towards that event. And I have a representative from the Dannon Project that can speak on the luncheon.
I'm Willie Davis with the Dannon Project. Just a little bit of information about this year's event. It's going to be held this Friday. We're going to have about 250 participants. It's a free event, and we just want everybody to enjoy, just experience the culture. Also, we're going to have some vendors and some pretty good speakers. So we're just hoping for some support from the counselors on this event.
Is it on Friday instead of Thursday now?
Yes, Friday.
Okay, it just says June 15th. Is that, wait, 12, 13, 14.
Might be one. Thursday.
Okay.
And Wednesday's the 14th.
Council Abbott?
Yeah, I was trying to make the numbers add up. $6,000. If you have 1,000 from District 4, 500 from 6, 1,000 from 7, and 1,000 from 9, that's only $3,500. So where'd the $6,000?
They didn't include the funds, 2,500 from the mayor's office.
Okay, well, that makes it add up then. And the mayor's office. Okay, and my other question was about the number of attendees and who are, you said it was free, so they don't, They just sign up for a ticket or something so you don't get surprised?
No, they won't be surprised. They just, go on the Eventbrite and sign up, and the meals and everything are taken care of.
Okay, and who attends this event?
So it's actually open to the public, as well as participants from the Dannon Project. Our participants are between the ages of 18 and 24, so they are part of that as well.
Okay, so just anyone who wants to come, but you have a target audience that is part of your organization that
Yes, ma'am.
will know about it and want to come?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Mainly I was trying to make the numbers add up, and they wouldn't.
Gotcha.
What's the time for the event? I'm sorry. I know it's not.
Isn't it 11?
It's 11 or something.
That's 11 o'clock.
Okay.
Yes, 11 o'clock.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there a motion?
Oh, did I?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item number 12 passes. Thank you, guys. We'll see you Thursday. Next item is item number 13.
I'll tag team this one with Ms. Murray Lewis. But what's before the council is just an agreement with the Alabama Recreation and Parks Association to hold a swimming and dive meet at the Crossplex. This is kind of a rotating event that I think 33 cities from around the state come in, and we hosted the event so the teams can come and use our facility for this swim meet. The fee is just basically the waiver of the facility use, and the city just wants to just go ahead and use that funding towards and give it to the association to have the swim meet. And Mr. Lewis can talk about the amount of people and the economic impact that potentially can come to our city.
Good afternoon. My name is Murray Lewis. I serve as Deputy Director at Birmingham Crossplex. This event is a statewide event from Alabama Park and Rec Association. All the parks and recs, all swimmers will come in. We're looking at roughly 1,300 to 1,500 athletes coming in, for about 4,000 to 8,000 spectators. Based on the greater Birmingham CBB, in the past, this event has surplus $800,000 to $1 million in economic impact.
You said 8,000 to $1 million.
800,000.
800,000, sorry. Madam President, do you have
Yes,
any
thank you
questions?
very much. I was thinking this is ARPA money.
That's what
But this is great for this area, and of course, anytime we can have that economic impact and people visiting our city. Just one question, is this like an event, you said, among municipalities, or is this different groups? Who would be attending this, or who's part of the swim?
All park and recs in the state of
All park
Alabama.
and recs in the state, okay, thank you. That's all, I just was trying to figure out who was in it, that's all.
Okay. Council Abbott?
Okay, so the $15,000 is not, we're not writing a check. This is a waiver of the facility uses.
We're writing it to the Alabama Recreation and Park Association to offset the fee that they would actually.
Okay, and then they're gonna pay it back to us. Okay. Okay, so can council members come and watch?
Absolutely.
So we'll get a schedule that tells us when it happens.
We
Yes,
will
ma'am.
definitely,
Yes,
I
ma'am.
think it's actually in the agreement, but we'll supply some more formal.
Yeah, it was late. Anyway, but the other question was, you know, we never got our warm-up, cool-down pool to go with our facility over there. And I was just wondering, you know, whatever happened to that? And is it just went poof?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it went poof, because from my recollection, it was budgeted at one point. And then I think the cost exceeded what we had budgeted for that actual warm-up pool, because it's not just it's literally a duplicate of what we have. It's just offset to the actual competition pool. So you're looking at something that could potentially cost up in the high millions, like Murray, I don't know, what, $5 to $10 million just for a warm-up pool?
So,
20 million. It's up there. So it kind of.
20 million?
So we kind of, I think, the last administration scrapped that because I think we were okay with what we have. we just can't go after a lot of the bigger competition because of the lack of having that warm-up pool.
Well, I was gonna say we could make a deal with the Boys and Girls Clubs, but I don't think they've got $20 million either.
Yeah, it's costly.
So we would have to duplicate it with another Olympic-sized pool. We couldn't have like a 25-meter with a
Yeah.
bulkhead in it.
You can probably explain it better than I can because I just know it's just like it is, like it said, it's a warm-up pool. It's just for them to warm their body up before they go into the actual competition phase of any meet.
Let's just put them in the shower. Hot tub. A bunch of hot tubs. Okay, that answers my question.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
So are these rec center leagues coming together, or how are they recruiting the athletes to compete?
Each park of rec has a region and a district, and they all bring in their park race in their district. Birmingham is actually in District 3. So,
Do we have any athletes competing?
yes, for the Birmingham Park and Rec swim team.
Oh, how
Yes.
many?
Well, you have to qualify, so you'll swim in a district meet that'll take place in Jasper. Once they qualify, we'll know exactly how many swimmers that swim in the state meet. However, Birmingham Park and Rec has 5 swimmers that's nationally ranked in the Southeast.
I didn't know that, you know?
One of the reasons that we have the crossplex is that the parents of all those swimmers we used to have at city pools came down to the city council and just gave us a lot of their opinions about the fact that we didn't have any places for their kids to swim and compete. And they kept on coming back and back and back, and that's part of the reason we have a crossplex. There are several other reasons, but a lot of it was those swim team parents, because they were insistent.
I believe it. Well, that's pretty impressive, honestly, yeah. Okay. Well, do y'all have any more questions? Okay. Is there a
I
motion?
move approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item number 13 passes. Good luck. Next item is item number 17.
I yield to my colleague.
We see her all the time.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Councilors. So you want me to read the blurb?
You don't have to do that. She did at the meal part.
Okay.
No, I did not. You can read the important parts.
Okay, I'll just skim over it. This will be a resolution to authorize the mayor to execute a lease agreement between the city and the Offender Alumni Association for the lease of a facility located at 1200 Tuscaloosa Avenue, under which the OAA will eliminate and prevent the spread of blight and deterioration for a term of 1 year. And they will also provide services to the citizens of Birmingham to include re-entry navigation services for people that are returning to the city post-incarceration. And they have a whole list of other services they will provide: youth intervention, family strengthening, and support forums. You know, they're trying to target violence prevention and intervention, just conflict resolution. And there are representatives here from the Offender Alumni Association. Deborah Daniels is the executive director. Dina Dickerson is the chief operating officer, and Tony Barnett is the administrative director.
Well, y'all come on up. Y'all know we know y'all. Come on.
Well, good evening. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you all for allowing us to come and present our request.
Okay. Councilors, Madam President.
Yes, thank you very much. This particular agreement is only for the lease of the facility. And
Yes.
I apologize, I didn't see the terms of the lease of the.
It's 1 year, and it would be, the rental rate would be the use value of the property. The property is situated in an urban renewal area, so it allows us to lease it at the value that is use value or useful to us. So they're providing these services in exchange for the use of the site.
This is the old Peace and Policy building. Council Abbott?
Well, that was one of my questions. What happened to the peace and policy people?
They were absorbed into the Office of Social Justice and Racial Equity, and we have the director here, Ms. Denise Gilmore. So that work is carrying on. We're not abandoning the work that Peace and Policy.
So they just moved out?
Pretty much, yes.
Okay, so you're gonna prevent the spread of blight and deterioration. Is that by occupying the building?
Yes.
Which would become blighted as soon as the peace and policy people moved out?
He's already blighted now. For
Do
real.
y'all know it's already blighted
Well, it's
now?
abandoned now.
It looked,
That's what it says.
They're gonna cut the grass.
I wouldn't say
They're
abandoned.
gonna, yeah.
I would just say it's not, it's not occupied.
Oh, they're gonna cut the grass? Okay.
Yes.
They are.
I was about to say, if the peace and policy people left it in a wreck, I mean, they should have to come back and clean it up. Okay, well, I just wondered, because I remembered that they were at that address, and what happened to them, or were y'all all gonna move in together and be a happy family?
Yeah, just
I
go
will
ahead.
say, I will say this, Counselor, you know, the mayor was the one who spearheaded a lot of right to have community events in the space, to make sure the community is aware of the services that are available. So it's a non-exclusive lease of the site, so that we can still host community events there for that purpose.
Okay,
What kind of,
and y'all are fine with that? And they come in and have a big party in your space?
we're gonna partner with them, and we're gonna do this in a collaborative effort.
Okay, well, I'm just glad the building's going to be used, and I just wondered what happened to the previous occupant. So I'm glad to know they're with you now. Okay, that's all.
so what are your plans? I know you said you're gonna collaborate with the city. What kind of community events do y'all have planned, or is that ongoing?
Well, we're mainly going to be providing services
Mm-hmm.
to the clients that we work with, of course, formerly incarcerated individuals like ourselves. But also, we are now the lead organization for the Violence Intervention Hospital Link program with UAB, and we're looking to expand to another hospital within the next year. Don't know what the hospital that would be, but it will give us an opportunity and a landing place to provide these services, because we have expanded and we have grown, and we want to be in the community.
Hopefully it's Princeton, since y'all are right down the road.
It was on the list as a possibility.
Well, I'm happy to hear that because I have that neighborhood meeting tomorrow night. So I can tell them you guys are moving in. But if you all have time, I would love for you all to come to our Arlington West End neighborhood meeting and just kind of talk to them about the services you'll be providing.
Absolutely.
And that's every second Tuesday of the month at 6 at West End Library. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Councilor
Madam
Tate.
President, if you would allow me, I just want to congratulate Ms. James and her team, and the mayor and his team, and Brandon Johnson for working so hard on this, as, providing, OA the opportunity to plant themselves in the community. This is what public safety and community safety looks like. Continuing to build out this ecosystem around public safety. As she stated, they already have the hospital violence intervention program, so this will give them an opportunity to work cross-collaborative across the city with other organizations that are out here on the ground to further the cause, what we're doing with the Aspen Institute and the Credible Messenger. Ms. Gaines and her team are already Credible Messenger trained, so this footprint will continue to go out further into the community. So once again, congratulations to the Offender Alumni Association, Chief Smiley and the mayor, to continue the blueprint and the footprint on reentry for those returning back to the city of Birmingham, because a lot of you all don't know, the majority of the people that are incarcerated are from Jefferson County.
Mm-hmm.
So this will give them an opportunity to expand their services, what they're doing around their youth program, the violence intervention, the Credible Messenger. So again, congratulations to Chief Smiley, the mayor, and Brandon Johnson for working so hard on this collaboration.
Thank you.
We appreciate you all for allowing us to be of service for the past 9 years in Birmingham. Thank you.
Councilors, do you have any more questions?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That item passes. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Next item is item number 18. Every time I think of my goat, I think of you, Councilor Evans. My goat.
Oh, my God, yeah, I have lots of questions about my.
Oh, y'all come to Harrison Park? I need to give you a hug.
Good evening.
Good evening.
You can read about goats.
Yeah. Sorry, Mr. Yates.
Good evening, Council Committee. My name is Josh Yates, and I serve as the Director of the Department of Public Works. And associated with item number 18, this is an amendment to a previous agreement with My Goat. We initially set this up in Lynn Park. We faced several challenges in Lynn Park, and you know, a lot of them were not what we expected. We expected that possibly one would go away. We'd have to go find it. We didn't have that happen. However, some of the things that did happen were associated with events. Tents, anything that gets staked into the ground at Lynn Park was puncturing through our overall, they call it a pin. So there's an underground wire, almost like what they call a dog fence or something. So we were having a lot of those cuts that would render our goat ineffective. Additionally, we had a lot of problems with electricity in the park as well. A lot of our population in the park was unplugging some of our goats in order to plug in phones or other devices. When we tried to stop that to an extent, ended up with some cut electrical wires. So it was really human interaction that really caused a lot of issues with them. They did work. They worked very well. But a lot of times when we needed them running, they were stopped due to no power, no electricity. They were unplugged. And so after reviewing and assessing what we needed to basically take those pins, reinstall them at Harrison Park. We feel like the environment there is better and more suitable for them, where there won't be any interruptions in electricity or anything of that nature. So the cost is $5,920 for the reinstallation of the actual pins. We have the goats in our possession, so we'll be reinstalling them at Harrison Park. We really wanted Lynn Park to work because we wanted it to be a showcase right here in front of City Hall. Unfortunately, just due to some of the elements we faced, that didn't work. However, we do believe that it will work for Harrison Park. It has been studied in a lot of areas. We've been given studies by the vendor as well as seen it for our own selves when they're running. They do run well, but they have to be plugged in. They have to be ready to go. And when we have human interactions, if somebody picks them up, if somebody touches them, messes with them, then all of a sudden they have to go back to their charging station if they can get there, and then they've got to restart over again. So it was causing a lot of issues. We can set them to run just at night. We can set them to run, throughout the day or at certain hours of the day. But they have to run for a certain number of hours. So with Lynn Park, we were specifically trying to run them at night, and they kept getting unplugged. So that was our biggest issue in Lynn Park, as well as the loops basically being cut. We feel like that won't happen here as much at Harrison, and we feel like it'd be a better location.
Councilors, do you have any questions?
I do.
Madam President?
What makes Harrison Park the right park to change this to?
We looked at a lot of different locations. One, the rec center that's there, so you have staff that's always there during the day. So if we did need to add what we call as shepherds, or what the vendor calls as shepherds, the people that go and fix the goats when they get in a bind, we can add some of the Park and Rec's team to that list to help us there, as well as the ones the employees that we have that have become very experienced with them. So we can have more people actually keeping an eye on them, as well as it just gives us an opportunity to try it in an area that's not so populated. Lynn Park, everything.
I was going to ask, because you still have people, you still have tents, and does this mean that you won't be able to use Lynn Park? Does this change the way you want to use goats from now? Because all of our parks have people, we have possible random people coming in, unplugging. So does this make the goats still a viable system? Or are there other things we need to put in place or we need to think about as we want to utilize the service?
I think they are a viable option. I think the problem with Lynn Park is that it's every weekend. It's always, it's not even just the weekend, it's during the week too. There's always something going on in Lynn Park.
Because the reason I ask, I'd like to see it expanded, because then it keeps us from having to worry about when we have events in other parks that they're always going to be maintained, or that we don't have to, constantly call and ask, when is this one going to be, or it makes you more efficient, just as far as keeping those parks. I know priority has been set, parks, right-of-ways, and our own public lot, property that we own. But I was just trying to think, we've got some new technology here. I know we're faced with these challenges, but would it be something we could expand later?
I absolutely think so. They actually sent a proposal in to do some more expanding, but I said, let's get it right first, and make sure it's running right first before we try to expand any. You know, the four pens and goats that we had in Lynn Park, you know, out of that, we broke it in with being 4, and we had quadrants, and so 1 or 2 would work correctly for a while, and then they would go down. We would go to work on those, and 3 and 4, while they were working correctly, they would go down. So it was kind of a back and forth, and we were having to chase where you know, the loops were broken and things of that nature, so it made it very difficult. I think somewhere where we don't have quite as many events, I think we're going to be a lot more successful.
Great, good to hear. That's all my questions.
Council Abbott?
Yeah, well, I was thinking about parks and goats and, you know, of course, my thing about the goats was to use real live ones, but I realized you have to have border collies and fences, and they eat everything. So if you have anything you like, it's gone. So they don't work quite as perfectly as I thought. But, so no one tried to steal them. It was just people, it was that element that visits our parks for no apparent reason, except to just hang out. And then poking the holes in the wiring.
Yes.
But so, did y'all choose Harrison Park maybe because it was nowhere near an interstate and somebody couldn't just grab and go?
No, it was really, I asked the team to kind of look at it, our team, to see where it would benefit us, and also asked them after we selected 2 or 3 parks to look at that had the size. You have to have the right acreage. You got to have not as many obstructions. Looking really for as level a ground as possible, because all the little imperfections you got to fix. So Harrison Park was one of the main contenders, and when we had the MyGo team take a look at it to see if it would work for them, they said it would be very well. So, you know, they cautioned us initially about Lynn Park, but I wanted it to be a showcase. I wanted it to work there. But unfortunately, the events and things of that nature were very difficult.
Yeah, Memorial Park seems like a perfect park because it's flat as a pancake almost.
But there's so many people that are there
Well,
now.
that's true. They might poke holes in it. Anyway, well, I can't have one because I don't have a community center. So I guess I'm out of luck when it comes to goats. Anyway, but it's interesting to know about. And the wording here was kind of confusing. It sounded for a while like we were adding 4 more and leaving some in Lynn Park. And then at the end, it talks about relocation. So it's a little bit confusing, but I understand now. Glad you came.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't have any more questions.
Okay.
Have we moved the item yet?
I don't think so.
I moved the item.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The item passes. Thank you, Mr. Yates.
Thank you.
Next item is item number 20. Jeff, is that you?
Oh, yeah, this is the Evergreen Neighborhoods Cleaning Service.
Actually, it came from community development.
You want to tag team? I can, because it's on the agenda for tomorrow. It's just the wording was completely wrong.
Right. So again, it's an item that was being recommended by the Evergreen Neighborhood Association. And the extermination work will be done at 1867 16th Street, which is the Evergreen Community Center. So I can't speak to maybe how, you know, the language here is here, but what it should be is what I've read into the record. The GL code and the amount is the same, but it's just a basic commercial exterminating service agreement with Starks Extermination.
I think the attachment was right, because I read all the attachments, and I think the attachment explained it right. It's just this was wrong. But my only question is, does the city not have extermination services for all our buildings? So why?
So I can explain that one, because this will technically not be part of it because it falls on the park and rec. So they would have to bid that particular service out for their rec centers. Now we have pest control services for all our city-owned facilities that are under our control. Rec centers are not technically under our control; they're under the Park and Recreation Board. So they would have to enter in that type of agreement.
Okay. So the buildings belong to us, but since they manage them, then they also are in charge of managing the pest.
And we don't mind. I mean, if this is a service they want to provide as an additional service, then they can work with our finance department, get a bid out for that actual service for all the communities and not just one.
Okay, thank you. That answers the question.
Madam President?
And that's inclusive of all the facilities management, so it would come under like facilities management.
Yeah, they handle everything. We just assist when they ask us, when they don't have the capacity.
Gotcha. Okay. Is there a motion?
I move approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Item number 20 passes. Next item is item number 21. And this is definitely as usual. Paulette submitted.
It's discretionary.
No, that's Councilor Clark. So I provided the committee members with a copy of the appropriate GL code.
So this is $5,000 for the Ballard House, and it's coming out of discretionary for District 8. Once again, if we were to say that, it would be good.
Okay. Madam President?
I don't have any questions.
Okay. Councilor Abbott?
And I don't have any more questions.
Is there a motion?
Move the item.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Item number 21 passes. We don't have any old or new business. The next Budget and Finance Committee meeting will be on Monday, June 26th at 3:30 p.m. Is there a motion for?
Move for agenda.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.